Uh, all right, so yes, as people are arriving, I guess give us another minute or two. But like I was saying, Carlos, I can't get in the room, so I don't know. I might get back to my office.
Okay. I'm here in the 121 just in case somebody is wrong here.
Oh, but either way, it's fine because most people will join on through online. Thank you, John.
Hey, Professor.
Hey, Robert, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
That's great.
All right, Carlos, let's get
How are you doing?
Let's get
How you doing,
about.
Tara? How you doing, Professor Maurice?
I'm doing great.
Okay, let's see.
You too, man. All right, Carlos. Whenever you're ready, take it away. It's recording, so if anyone shows up late, they can always we'll email it to everyone later.
Okay, perfect. So let's wait just maybe 2 more minutes to start the workshop today. Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I heard her deal right here too.
Yes.
That's going this far.
Very good so far.
Yep.
Running good.
Registration for that earn account.
I see the email. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, John, Alvinez. So actually, John, I will need your help also because I just create a room for those faculty that may have
Carlos, you ready to get started?
Oh,
Are
sorry.
you ready to get started?
So I was mentioned, so let's start now, and I will explain how we are going to address the workshop today. Let me share the screen. You will, let's start the presentation. Hold on. Okay, so can you hear me, guys? Just to make sure. Okay, thanks. Okay, guys, so the workshop today will be about how we can access computational resources on Nautilus. That is a association to the National Research Platform, the University of California. There are consortiums, there are different universities, and FAMU is part of that consortium. So we have resources, CPUs, GPUs, and memory to execute machine learning applications on those resources. So as a faculty and students here at FAMU, we have access to those facilities of those computational resources to work on our research on that. So basically, the workshop today will be how we can access those resources, how we can set up a Jupyter notebook on those resources, and we will be working on an example how we can launch our application on those on that platform. So I do have, well, my name is Carlos Teran. I'm a assistant professor at the Computer Information Science Department. I've been here for about 4 years. I actually started working as an instructor at the math department, but then I moved to the computing information uh, department. So I've been working there maybe for 3 years now. Um, okay, so the objective is to get familiar with faculty students with the features and resources available on National Research Platform, what I was talking about, Nautilus, and including how to access and navigate the platform using their institutional account, so our institutional account. So because we are part of that consortium, so we can access using our institutional account and access those computational resources. Then at the end of this presentation, you will be the faculty, enable faculty to utilize Jupyter Lab through the platform guidance on the process of creating and executing Jupyter notebooks for the research projects. So the third part, I don't think that we will have time to cover the third part. I may say that the third part is kind of a advanced with we need to that third part will require some kind of computational knowledge, but eventually maybe we will offer a workshop for the third part, for the third objective. But now we will focus on the first and the second one. Okay, so the way that we are going to do this, I do have some students that we will helping us. I actually create a room. So if you get stuck setting up the account this Natal platform. So I think that John, you can send an email to or a message to John, or yes, because I will send Robert to that room, so he will be there helping you, doing the configuration or trying to get into the Nautilus platform. So let me see. I'm not quite familiar with. Let me see if I can send um, Robert. I will send you to the room number 1. So Robert will be there. And if you need assistance during the presentation, you can go to the room number 1. Robert will can help you, and that way we don't have to like start the presentation. The presentation will be recorded, so you will then have time to go over the presentation. You know, I think that's the best way that we can do this to manage the time. So let me briefly introduce what is, let me go back. The National Research Platform is a partnership of more than 50 institutions, and we are part of that, those institutions. It's a cyber infrastructure of the University of San Diego, California. So Nautilus is a powerful nationally distributed computer system where you will find CPUs, GPUs to execute your machine learning applications. That's you will find data pods or instances where you will find packages already installed on those ones, and you don't have to install those packages. There are some simulations and where we can run machine learning applications. So let's start actually with the process how you will log in into this platform. So let me actually share this link right here. I will put the link um, in the chat so you can access that link, and you will be able to log in. So for those, they were at the point when I submit the request to give you access. They were 12 faculty at the point that was registered at the time. So for those 12 faculty, I don't know if here we have more than 12, but for those 12 faculty that they did the registrations, I think that was by Monday, I sent an email to granted access in order to log in into this platform. If you have any issues logging in the platform and maybe you register maybe yesterday or today morning, probably you won't have access to it because we have to request first access with your email, and then you will have access to the platform. So just send us an email, and we will be able to help you on it. Okay. So let's if you want to go with me along with me. So here is the platform. Let me know if you are able to see the new tab, the Nautilus web page. Okay, perfect. Okay, so here we have the login. So let's do login. And here you will find, I already have the Florida A&M University. It was in my browser already, but maybe you has Google. So what you will do is click on the Florida A&M University. Sorry, click there in the arrow and then type Florida MAN. So, and you will select Florida MAN, AM University. Then let's click on login, and it will send you to this portal right here. So in this portal, I just want to go through the portal, and it's essentially what you will find in the slide, step 2, step 1, and so on. So those steps out here are here in the portal. Okay. By the way, I think that it already sent me directly to the Nautilus platform. It did not ask me for the credential. Yes, because I mean, I was login already there before the workshop, so it sent me directly. But maybe if you log in, you will see these windows right here. It will send you to the FAMU authentication portal. So there in the FAMU authentication portal, what you will do is in the username, you will do the first part of your email before the @ so for example, mine is Carlos Dacteran, so you will do that in the username. And for the password, you will do the password that you use for you to log in your iRattler, to log in your institutional email, okay? So I will give you maybe 1 minute and let me know if that worked for you. I tested with one of the professor and it was working. Two of them give me a thumbs up. So please let me know if it worked for you. Or okay, great. Because sometimes, actually, sometimes it says like the password or the username is incorrect, but you have to try like 2 or 3 times and it will eventually log in. Okay. So just to let you know that. Okay, if you were able to log in, you will be now in the portal. So here is the portal. Let me go over the portal. What you will find here in the resources, you will find the capacity that this platform has per the different institutions, the collaboration that the different institution has. So if we do FAMU here, you will see that FAMU has a 12 CPUs. The type of the GPUs that we are providing to this platform, the memory that are available, the capacity of the disk available, right? The CPUs, GPUs, and in the memory that we are contributing in total to this platform. So we are part of that consortium of that the way that we are participating, right, with those resources. So we have resources to run our projects. So let me go pretty quick about namespace. So maybe here, if you do go on namespace manager, probably here you are a guest, okay? That means that you, in order to create namespace, to launch pod or something, more that consume more resources, you will need to request to be an admin or a user, in order to launch those launch applications, your bots, your containers, images, and all the things. Okay, but because we are going to be working with a Jupyter Hub, we don't with being a guest is good enough. But if you need to do more, you need to be a user or an admin, okay? Now, how we can ask to change the status? So there is something that is called the metrics, and the metrics is for the National Research Platform support. So we can request, okay, I want to be the admin, this is my account, and it will change the status, okay, the privilege that you can have. So here in my space, then you can create the space, and that space is where you are going to create the pods and launch the Docker files and all the things. That is actually the third part of the objectives that we are not going to cover today. But if you are interested, we can maybe do one more sessions just for that part right there. And the storage is the storage informations that you can find in overall in this platform. The name space, those are all the namespace that are actually created in this platform, and you will see like some short descriptions about what those researchers are doing there. So there, if you create a namespace and you do the short descriptions about what you're doing, eventually you will see here that namespace. Okay. With the get config, this part right here is pretty important because if we want to configure our computer locally in order to log in or yeah, to log in into those resources from our local computer, we have to download the get config and do some others installation and configurations with Docker files, with Kubernetes, sorry. With Kubernetes, we have to install Kubernetes in order to launch the Dockers and all the things. So this is the main platform that you will, where you are going to manage your resources and your namespace. For example, if you have students, you create a namespace for, let's say, let me give you an example. Workshop, FAMU. I'm gonna create a namespace. Let me see, I got an error here. I think that it can have let's do without space. Let me read the error. Okay, lowercase. It does not admit uppercase. Lowercase. There you go. So the namespace created, namespace managed. It should be here. So these are actually all namespace that have been created during all this time. And here is the workshop FAMU. So here, if you are the PI, you can do your information, the grant, the group, the descriptions about what is the project about, the institution, the software that you need, if you have a GitHub repository to upload your projects. And here is where you can add the user. So for example, if you are working with some students, you can add the student in here and they will be able to launch pod or create application attached to this pod, to the pod or image of your research, okay? So this is, again, the main platform. So that is a quick review about the Nautilus platform and how we can access to the platform, the resources that we can find there. So all the things that I mentioned is in here, step by step in those slides, and I will give you access to these slides, and you will be able to work on it. So, but now, because from the previous survey that Dr. Parra did, I know most of you are beginners with the coding and all these computational things. So we are going to use Jupyter Hub. Jupyter Hub is a pretty friendly platform where you can launch your Jupyter notebooks and use those resources, okay? So let me copy, I'm gonna copy this link. I will put this link. Again, copy guys and share in this on the chat so you can how do you get this page from the portal page? Sorry, I did have a question here. How did I get this page from the portal page? I think
I tried to answer. Did you say click on the resources? That's back when you were talking about the, you typed in FAMU and you showed how many GPU we had, how many we had access to. You just had to click on the resources page. I think that was the question.
okay. Okay, it could be that one or when because it sent me directly to this portal instead of the FAMU authentication portal. So I don't know if probably they were a kind of confusion because that step was skipped on my end because I was already logging. So I don't know. Okay, thanks. Well, so now let's use those resources with the Jupyter Hub. Okay, this is the Jupyter Hub. So let me see. I shared the link with you guys. The Jupyter Hub. Again, we are going to sign in with SiteLogin. So here, let's click there. And again, we will have, right, it is a Windows right here. Let's look for Florida A&M University. Let's log in. And here we have the where we can select the configuration of the machine or the resources that we want to utilize. So here, how many GPUs you want to use, the number of cores, the number of memory runs, the type of GPUs that you want to use. And then this part is important. Okay, let's go by of those options again. So here in the regions, I do any. In that way, the resources can take or can be taken from any of those location. We have the GPUs. In this case, I mean, let's do two. But the application that we will run actually doesn't need GPUs. It's a small application. Number of core and memory RAM, like we can provide that by default, but you can change it by 12, 32, you know, you can change the memory RAM. I'm just gonna do 8. And so those are the resources that you can use. But now in the image is you are going to select the image based on the applications that you want to develop. So for example, in my case, I do a lot machine learning application. So this is the one that work best for me. So for example, if you are using R, so this is the package that you need to select. This also TensorFlow is a good one for machine learning applications and deep learning application and PyTorch as well. So we have R, Julia, Spark if you are working with Spark. We have some for geospatial application. Let's see what. So we have actually MATLAB here, and it can launch a MATLAB, but you need to have license because it will ask you eventually to provide the license of your MATLAB, and then you can run the MATLAB using those resources, using the resources of Natural Language Platform, but you will need your own license, okay? And yeah, you know, there are a few more packages, maybe I may say kind of software where you can use for your research. Okay, so but now let's do NRP. Let's click on NRP, Deep Learning and Data Science Full. We can do that one, or I think that TensorFlow will work as well. But for now, let's do this one. NRP, Deep Learning and Data Science Full. So we will find all packages. We are talking about Pandas for data management, NumPy for numerical computation with matrices, Matplotlib for visualization, scikit-learn. All those packages are are already installed in this image right here. So if we click on that one, let's go all the way down and let's do a star. So here you can select the type of the architecture, but you can do any.
I don't think we can see the screen anymore.
You cannot see my screen anymore?
No, we see you.
Whoa.
Wait, is this just me? Because I can just see you.
No, I
Well,
can see the screen.
All right, hold on. Hold on.
mhm.
I see just Carlos. Weird. Wait.
Do
Yeah,
you have two monitors or something like that, or?
I don't. Am I the only one who can't see the screen anymore?
let's see here. A professor says that I can see the screen.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Look at the top of your screen. Do you see a button that says meeting and one that says Carl Saran screen at the top of your screen?
Go to view.
Uh, because you may just be clicked into the meeting and not into his viewing his screen.
Meeting.
Mhm.
Uh, hmm. Okay, I'm back here. I see it. I see it. I got it.
Okay. Perfect. Um, so here I was mentioning, right, that we select the, here in this part right here, we select the resources that we want to use. I just do 2 GPUs, 1 core, 8 RAMs, and in general, I just any type of GPUs. And here are the images with the packages that you will need. In my case, I use a lot this one right here because contains the machine learning and deep learning packages. So you just click on that one or select that one. Let's go all the way down and let's do a start. Let's see. Sometimes it takes a minute to launch the 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 notebook. Okay, in the meantime, while it is loading, so this is what I already say about the packages that you will find on the platform. Um, for this workshop, in order to show you how the platform works, how we can upload files and all the things. So let me share with you this link. In this link, you will find the presentation, the data that we will use, and the Jupyter notebook that I'm gonna use as an example. So I will share I think it's let me, with the link copy, and I wanna put it in the chat. Okay, let me know if you can access to the folder. Okay, there you go. We already have our Jupyter notebook. Let me know if actually, if you are in here, because I think that it sends you to a different window like this one. Let me go back. This one, maybe you are in these windows. I don't know. Let me know if I'm all right.
Yeah, it looks like that
Fine.
window.
Okay, so in that case, you are going to click in the ones that say Python 3, IPY kernel. You can click on that one or double click, and then it will launch these windows right here. Let me know, guys, if you are here in the Jupyter Notebook. And also, if the link that I share with you, the folder in Google OneDrive, works for you as well. Okay. Perfect. So in a Google Drive, my recommendation is to download this file. Let's download the data science application. Let me download it. Download this one and download the image, the data. Those two files. Those are the two files that we are going to that we will use. Okay. Okay. Well, what I'm gonna show you now is how we can upload a Jupyter notebook. So this is actually a Jupyter notebook that you can create from scratch. Here is where you can add a cell. I'm just gonna go pretty quick in this one in case that you know, if you want to create your Jupyter notebook from scratch, how you work with all these things. I'm just gonna print my name here. I'm gonna run it. And here is the, you know, it's working. So this is the way that you can work and add more cell in a Jupyter notebook that is blank, you know, that you want to work from scratch. So yes, those are the cells that you can add. This is blank, but let's work with the ones that I share with you. If you download it, let me move, put this here. I'm gonna open it. And there you go. So this is the Jupyter notebook. Let's do double.
That previous screen, we didn't see that previous screen. But you could also drag and drop it in as well. But
Oh,
the,
yeah.
yeah, the screen to open the open box didn't show up.
Oh, right. So yeah, you can click in here to upload a file. You know, it will open up, pop up a new Windows, and then you can look for the file. It should be in downloaded folder, but also you can just drop it. As Elder mentioned, you can just drop the file, and it will work. And let's do the same with the data. Let's do the same with the data. So with the data, you can also just you can drop it, and it's here. So those are the two ways that we can do. So guys, I just want to make sure that you all are following me. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And then we can continue through the Jupyter notebook. Okay. Okay. So the applications that we are going to work today is about heart disease predictions. The idea is to do the predictions. It's going to be a binary classification task. So the patients may suffer or not heart disease. So some of you are from pharmacy. You are more knowledge about the technical aspect about the disease and the side of data, you know, the machine learning things and data side. So the heart disease, commonly known as cardiovascular disease, is a general term. Encompass various conditions that impact the heart in circulatory systems. It is a leading causes of disability worldwide, since the heart is one of the body's most essential organs. His disease can also affect other organs and body parts. There are multiple types of heart diseases, with the most common ones involving the narrowing of blockage of coronary arteries, malfunctioning heart valve, and an enlarged heart, and other conditions that can result in heart failure or heart attack. Okay, so that's the problems that we are going to be covering today. The idea is, based on the feature of our data, identify the patient is suffering a heart disease or not. So that is a binary binary classification. Okay, let's see in the box. Let's go box by box. So this is where we are going to, we have mainly two parts right here. The first part is the exploratory data exploratory analysis. I will go give a overview why we need to do that task, what is important, and then the prediction. Okay, so that's what we are going to be covering in this lab. The idea is to understand the basic pipeline process of machine learning implementations, understand the training and testing process of machine learning models. We will evaluate the performance of the model. And well, here we are not going to cover the explainability today. The explainability model is how actually the model is using those features to do the decision or the prediction. Okay. So that's what we are going to cover in this lab today. So again, the main part, I did some comments right here about what each package is important. The way that I used to do my code is the first cells, I do all the packages that I need. In that way, it's gonna be easy for somebody else to read or to see what packages are using. Instead here, I do for the first part, I import the packages, and the second part, I import another the other packages. So here we are importing NumPy, Pandas, SPy, Seaborn. This is a pretty well used library to do a statistical analysis, and you will see later like the distribution of your data. You can find outliers of your data, statistical information, all those things with the Seaborn. It's a pretty well known and library. SciPy is also to provide a statistical analysis. Pandas is for data management. Usually when you have an Excel file, SCV file, when it's like a table, are actually imported or loaded as a pandas, which is, that is the name of the package, but it's actually a data frame, okay? A data frame. Well, those are the main packages that we are going to use. And the matplotlib help us to do the visualization, and you will see later that part. So let me just explain a little bit the syntax about when we import these packages. So we use the keyword import yes or yes, then the name of the package, and this is when we ask np, this is gonna be the object that we are going to use to call any function from that library. But I mean, you can do whatever you want to call it. Carlos, then I do Carlos dot matrix computation, Carlos dot, I don't know, no, any function that is here. But in general, everyone do MP as a NumPy, right? But you can change it. So how we can run now these cells in, you can do go here, click, and it will eventually run. Or you can do click in the cell. You can click in the cell. If you are using Mac, you can do Command Enter. If you do Command Enter, you will run the cell. If you are using Windows, you can do Control Enter, and it will run that cell. Okay. So actually, I think that I share with you. I think that I share with you the ones that is already completed. I was delete some part that I want you to complete by yourself. I share with you the one that is already completed. Okay. So doesn't matter. The first part, we have to upload the data. To upload the data, again, you need to do the path of where your data is. So this is the data, here this is. So, but the name of my file is here this is underscore data. And this part right here, we are going to just upload, if you see PD, which is the object that you call in here, PD, right? That's the from Pandas library. So that's the object. I'm using a functions that belongs to that library, and then I'm using here the name of your data. So that head means how many, well, by default, if you do head, it will print the first 5 rows of your data. And in that way, you can see how your data looks like, right? So, and you can see also the feature of your data. So here, the features of our data is the age, sex, CP, stress, cholesterol, and the others data. And this is the target. The target is 0 and 1. So 1 if it's affected, 0 not affected. Okay, so we have the target value. So this is what the model will take. So the model will take this part and print the information. So here you will find the description of each cell. You have the description of each cell. So let's run the data. In this cell is df, so you have to change that one by data. Again, I will do Command N. And what it will do is, what I'm trying to use here in this step, data processing. In the data pre-processing is we have to remove any null value, non-value, or any missing value if we want to remove it, if you don't want to do any imputation method. So here is where you, in this step is where you are going to do that, okay? So here I'm just looking at where are the Unix values that are listed per row. So you can see that. So in here, based on the description of our problem, if you see here, this problem, the child value is 0, 1, 2, and 3. So those are the unique values that should have the data. But if you see the child value, no, sorry, what this one, the CA value, the CL value, it has, let's go all the way, C value goes from 0 to 3. Here is a description. So those are the values that we need to use or to work with. So here I'm trying to drop any row where the CA column has 4. Okay, so I want to run that data, that cell. And it's dropping or removing those values that I don't want in my data set. So here I just want to rename the columns in order to have a better understanding about what those columns contains. Like CP, we are going to change it by chest pain type, threats BPS by resting blood pressure, and so on. So now, if we see the data, is more readable and we know what each column has, right, or is. So now in this part, we want to drop the non-values, the non-value, which is important. So machine learning models doesn't work with non-values, and eventually you will have an error. So let's do here none. So the data frame does not contain any non-value. This is very important to check before to keep going and start training your models. So here, what I'm saying here is the data that was uploaded. So this CSV file, this file is actually contained in this variable right here, in this identifier, this data that is null. I'm asking if there is any non-value or non-values and find it if in any row or in any column, okay? That's what I'm doing there. If you find any non-value, you can remove then that specific column. It says that there is any. So let's keep exploring our data. Something that is important when you are going to work with with machine learning models is to see or to check that your data is balanced. What I mean by that is, for example, we have our target is 0 and 1. Let's say that only 10% of our data is patients that are suffering the disease, and 90% of the patient is not suffering the disease. So the data is imbalance, is not a good, that data does not provide good quality to train a model because you will have a bad performance, an overfitting issue. So that's why this is a step is pretty important. to identify the distribution of your patient or your data. In this case, how many patients are labeled as 0 and how many patients are labeled as 1. So we have 45 against 64, which is okay. And this step is pretty important. So always check the balancing of your data. Check that at least the number of classes, the sample that you have per classes, are kind of similar. You don't have like 20 against 80% because eventually you will have, when you start training it, you may have a overfitting problem. It will, and then you will see like, oh, my model has a 99 or 90% of accuracy, but yes, it's because there was just 10% of sample against a 90%. So data that describe this function, these functions provide some statistical insight about the median, the standard deviation, and the different quantiles that you have, right? The first quantile, the second quantile, and the third quantile. So you can see the different quantiles that you have in your data set and the distribution, how sparse with the standard deviation, how sparse the samples are, right? So here you can see some knowledge about the data. You may have some knowledge about the data with the data that describe. This thing is just to the way that I want to print it, okay? Because I like it to see it in a vertical form. For me, it's more readable, but I mean that's based depend on how you want to read it. So here, guys, what I'm providing to you is a function that will plot the distribution of some features, okay? So here is the function. Actually, you don't have to touch it. You can just use it with the different data. So the first paragraph, the first parameter has the data. The second one, the features that you want to see the distribution, and then the target. So here you can see the distribution of the data and per classes, class 0 and 1, and you see they are kind similar. That means that for a machine learning model, a linear machine learning model, it's going to be kind of difficult to differentiate one sample or one group from another because the distribution is pretty similar, the behavior, right? So it will start giving you some insight about what kind of model I need to use. A linear or non-linear model. Is linear or not linear the data that am I using? So in this one, numerical feature will give you actually a better understanding how the samples are distributed. So if you see, these are the features, cholesterol, and it's kind of mixed, right? Those patients that doesn't have that suffering heart disease and not, is kind of difficult. If I ask you, like, can you split or separate with a line those features right here, it's gonna be kind of difficult, right? Because they are overposed. So this way you can see, like, you can tell yourself, like, a linear model may not work the best way. So you can start thinking about a non-linear model. And when I say linear model, I'm talking about maybe a linear regression may not work as best for this kind of data set because you see it's kind of difficult to separate those samples. So here you see feature selection. Sometimes those features are redundant, so we have to take out some features and others. So here you can see that, and now let's see the correlation heat map. In the correlation heat map, you will have the correlation per feature, right? So we can run that. And after that, we have the second part, which is the prediction. Here we have a few models. And so I'm not going to use chat value. We're not going to work with that today. So here the encoding label is just to make sure if the target value is a char value, a character, we are going to turn those into a numerical value. So here we are going to train the model. This is a function that will help us to split the data into training and testing because we want to train the model with data and testing with data not seen before by the model. So let's right here, I'm creating the model, the object of the model right here. So we have the different objects. I'm gonna train in here. So here fit this function. So here I just create the object. So and in here I'm feeding the model. So what I'm doing here is, okay, now with the data that is for training, the labels are going to feed the model or are going to train the model in other words, right? So I'm just training 3 of those models. And now let's do the predictions with the data that is unseen by the model. So I'm gonna run it. For this one, this part right here, I'm just going to compute the accuracy, how good the model is doing it. And if you can see, these two first right here, that's a 71, 76, but the gradient boost has accuracy of 85%. And this is because the gradient boosting works pretty well for non-linear model, non-linear data, like the ones that we have. So now you want to compute the different metrics to evaluate your model, like precision, the recall, the F1 score, which is the sensitivity and the precision, right? So here, this function, you can just use it. You don't have to touch it. You can use as a parameter the fair model and the labels. So here is the model evaluation. The confusion metrics tells you how many samples were actually well classified, and the diagonal tells you the correct classification, and those that are outside will tell you how many were misclassified. Okay. And finally, we have the ORC curve. The ORC curve tells you how good the models does for positive rate and false positive rate. So how good the model is classifying it or misclassifying the samples. So here I'm printing the different 3 models that we're training, the SVC, which is a support vector machine for classification, decision trees, and gradient boosting. Okay, so you has access to this document. I try to go over what is going on over each step. And I know that this is kind of fast.
Okay,
Yes,
I will be,
can hear.
yeah, I will be launch the survey for today. Let me give me a second because I got this task assigned to me, so I'm gonna send it down now.
So I do have a question here.
Yeah.
Uh,
Can you see the poll? Oh,
I do have a question by Dr. D.
okay.
Neil Jane.
I
Hi,
don't know. I launched the poll. Okay.
I
Yes.
was wondering how you are executing those snippets of codes.
Okay, the way that I was doing it, there is 2 different ways to execute it. So you can go on each cell, for example, the first one, and up
Yeah.
here in the play button, you can click on that one and it will run it. But the way that I do it, which is, I mean, the fast way, you can do if you are using Apple, a Mac, sorry, if you are using a Mac, you can do Command and Enter. Command.
Okay, I'm not, I'm Windows.
And if you're using Windows, do Control and Enter.
Okay, great.
Yeah, do Control and Enter. And let me know. And
All
that's
right.
that I'm compiling cell by cell.
Yes, thank you. That works.
Mhm.
Okay, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, okay, hello. So I will launch the survey. We can see the survey. Okay, Carlos, if you can stop sharing, I can share
Okay.
the QR, I guess. Okay, now you can, with your phone, scan the QR and then some few questions there for you to know more about what you want next and maybe some information about your department.
I do have a question, Elizabeth.
Yeah, I have a question. Okay, so last week we went over the Google Colab, right? And then this time it's the Jupyter Notebooks, but these look interchangeable, are they?
Actually, you can, this file, you can also use it on Google Colab. Yes, you can.
Now,
down-
which one is better, or which, I mean, they look like Google Colab has its own libraries, but this libraries that we pulled, where are they coming from?
Well, those libraries are coming from, when I click the images, you know, there were some images that were using
Yeah.
our package, TensorFlow.
Uh-huh.
So you need to select the image that has the packages that you want to use. That's why we don't have to like install the packages, because we're selecting the image that contains the package, the packages that we want to use.
But sometimes we need more than just one.
Yes, if there is an image, that does not require, you know, that doesn't satisfy the packages that you need, you can do pip install,
Okay.
and then the name of the package.
Okay, so can we create a custom image?
Actually, that was a question that I did yeah, I mean, the answer is yes. Once you log in or you get into the image and you have the Jupyter Notebook, you can do pip install and it will install the package that you need. So the question is yes, you can customize it. And I did a question, my question or my previous answer, what I want to mention, it was, I asked if I want to create an image with my own packages that stay there already. So every time that I log in into the platform, I will see the image. I don't know, maybe let's say that my image is Research Carlos. So that was actually one of my questions. And they say that that is possible, but we have to like request access and use some template that they do have to do that. Yes, it's possible, and there's two ways. We can log in and install the packages, but every time that you log in, you have to install those packages. That's the point. I don't know if I make myself clear.
Yeah, but I also wondered that, okay, with Jupyter Notebooks, it seems like that Google Colab had an AI component to generate the code, right, by natural language process, right?
Yes, yes, that's
But Jupyter Notebooks, you need to know that code.
yes. This the Jupyter Hub platform that's not the integration of the AI.
Okay,
Yes.
so okay, so that's okay, I got it. I got it. So we're gonna have to be trained on, Python, the different languages, Python, R, and all that, right?
Well, my expertise in Python and not related with R, but that is something that can be discussed with the team.
Yeah,
That is your a part of your need, you know.
I think so. I think everybody needs to have some type of just the basics of how those, and if you make if you're typing a script and you make an error, then it's not going to run. So I think we need to know a little bit more about Python in the future, I guess, you know?
Yes, I follow you. Yeah, I think that that could be a good workshop, like introduction to Python to go through. Yeah, because and that's true. To start, you know, to do a machine learning application, we'll need to know we will need to have some knowledge, right, about how to work with Python, how to fix errors and all those things. But yeah,
Right.
right.
But you know, ultimately, it seems to me a lot of these functions are in Excel. Am I right? Except for statistics.
I don't think so. Well, I don't know. I maybe because now we have a lot of advance with all these techniques and Microsoft are out there,
Right. Yeah.
their services and all the things. But I cannot tell, or I don't know because I don't use Excel just for for the student roster. But yeah, I cannot answer that. I don't know if maybe Microsoft have improved Excel to do all the things.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Dr. D.
Hi, I had a quick question for you. So if I want to do some analysis on our enrollment data, retention, those data, are we allowed to upload those files on for Colab and Jupyter Notebook or, whichever we want to use?
That's a good question. Jupyter Hub, for Google Colab, I think that you don't have any restriction because you can create your own account and it will be eventually it's running online, but it's locally eventually on your computer. So you won't have any issue. But for Jupyter Hub, at the beginning, they have like some um, policy. There is a policy. So if you click on it, you will see the policy that they do have, maybe for data retention. I don't know. Being honest, I haven't go over those policies,
Okay,
but
that's
you
fine.
can find it and read it, and you
Right.
will see, like what are the policy about the data
Okay.
management.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
But it's okay for us to upload because it's university data. I didn't know if you're allowed to upload them in, locations that are not the universities.
I see.
Yeah, like
Mhm. Good question.
security or some, ethics. I
Mm.
don't know. But
Yeah,
if we don't upload our data, then what are we going to use them for?
right.
Well, the biggest restriction I think is for HIPAA, isn't it? For HIPAA and protected data if you're doing clinical trials. But if you have just data from your laboratory and it's eventually going to be open source anyway, I think it's fine, right? Am I right, Carlos?
Yeah, I think that's true. Because the data, if you're doing research, eventually, uh, yeah, it will be public, right? But yes, I think that. Mhm.
Are you doing clinical trials?
I work with recently. I work with some professor at the pharmacy department, and we publish a paper, but I don't know if they release the data. Um, so that was actually a clinical trial. Was about diabetes disease, and that data was collected from a minority population. But I don't know if they at the end they release it or not. But I work with. with healthcare data.
Is the storage unlimited on here if we have data?
There is a, well, I also asked the questions and they say no.
Oh,
Uh,
really? That's wonderful.
yes, I answer your question based on what the answer that I received. They say no, you can use the storage amount of storage that you as much as you need. You can just request how much. He told me no. Here we have some researchers that are using terabytes, and
Right.
they're so yeah.
I wonder, because we have to set up something for genomics right now for the core and for sequencing data. And I think in here you can build a pipeline for data and analytics, right? Using Jupyter notebooks, it seems like it's possible, right?
Yeah, it's possible. Right. Yes.
Now, but to bring in software that's not installed in the package, say for example, there's specialized software, how would that work?
Well, yes, that's also, and that's a good question. Uh, I think that they have the software that they have on that platform, or most of them are free source. If there is a particular software, I'm not quite sure. That I think that's we have to ask that directly to the NRP support, how we can use a software that they don't have already on their platform.
Right. So that's a good question, right? Because like, how do you pull it in if it is
Yeah.
open source, so from GitHub or something, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So because they already have like some software set up, most of them are free software. But yes, I don't know if there is a particular software that we need to run on it, how we
Oh,
can.
this
Yeah.
brings up a good question. So the question I have is that, okay, say for example, we just bought a new sequencing machine, right? And it's singular genomics. If I set up a pipeline, anybody could use the pipeline if they use the same instrument. Do you hear what I'm saying? Like around the world. So if I set up a data pipeline and I can share that data pipeline with everybody in here from other universities, it's the same thing. If they have a pipeline, they can share it with us, right? And do they share it with us?
Um, yeah, can you?
Everything coming off the instruments is the same. Whatever, if it's Illumina, it's going to be Illumina. But if it's singular, it's going to be singular. So yeah. So every instrument, when it spits it off, then you have big data analytics for that. And you have basically like alignment and adjustments to the sequencer and all that to the sequencing. And then finally you have your data analytics, but it's a pipeline that can be used over and over and over again from anything coming out of that instrument. So do you think there's something already on here that somebody already set up a pipeline and shared, or should I set up one and maybe share it?
Yeah, I think that the second option. I don't think that there is on this platform a pipeline already established for X or Y application. Yes, I think that you can create a pipeline and then share with the community. But
Most people are doing their own business on here, right?
yes, yeah, that they don't have like I haven't seen yet, or maybe that's a good questions that Maurice may ask because he was in the last NRP conference. And sometimes what they do share is those pipeline on GitHub, like they made it public, they applications, and you can access it from GitHub. So here John says that data pipeline can be shared as we find open source.
Surprised the companies don't build one and share it, you know, like Illumina or Agilent, if they have for data analytics, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yes.
something they should be providing.
Yeah, I think that may be a good question to the ones that manage the platform. It's something that can be possible, and also based on the policy that they do have on the platform, right? Yeah. Okay, so I will say thanks for your time. Thank you for your time. I hope that this part of the workshop will help for you for your research. And again, if you have any questions, you can send that an email. Thanks, Robert, for your assistance.
No problem.
And yes, have a great rest of the day and great rest of the week.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Hey, Robert, thank you
No problem.
for everything. So see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
All right.